So I told the guys in procurement who, no, the guys who were working with procurement, I said, guys, let's change the words that we use. It's a simple exercise. But what I want you to do is instead of sending them, this should have been approved last week. Hi, Mark. How are you? This is James, from whatever. I hope everything is good. I know that your son Timmy plays softball. I hope the league is going great. I know that they won the last three in a row. It's amazing. By the way, if you get a chance, if you don't mind, please, all of these positive words, send me
Yeah.
the invoice. So that we can pay the invoice, stuff like that. And the remarkable thing is that we saw profound change simply by people choosing better, more positive words.
Wow. How quick was the change to adapt more positive words?
So what I saw within a couple of days, the change. What
Really?
happened at first was they were like, "What the hell is this? Like, why is the guy being nice to me? He's not a nice guy. For 3 years,
Yeah.
he sends me. Everyone kind of craps on procurement because they just want them to stamp it and get it out the door. And it's part of a whole sort of restructuring. But I said you got to partner with procurement. They're not the people that you just have them stamp something that you already decided. You bring them in earlier, they can add value, on and on and on. And so we saw it within a few days. I think within a
Amazing.
work week, we were able to see the difference, and it's astonishing. So that's something I
You,
would
you know,
recommend that you guys can do now when you're putting together the studies and stuff like that. If you
yeah.
choose better words, your outcome is incredibly impacted.
Yeah. So I'll say two things about this. One is there's a very famous couples researcher called Gutman,
Okay.
and he is talking about bids. And in his language, bids is I ask you to do something. Are you responding back? Are you ignoring me? And he says that the ratio of positive to negative bids needs to be 5 to 1.
Okay.
He says from time to time you'll mess up something. Somebody will say, "Hey, darling, let me tell you about my day. So I'm just too busy right now." From time to time there'll be negative bids, and the way to do it is to overwhelm them with with positive ones. And the second thing I'm thinking about as you're saying it is that when the Irish were working on the peace between the Catholics and the
Yeah.
Protestants, there was this sense that they need to have appreciation for each other. And the term they used was equity of esteem. And they said that if you come to a negotiation table and you don't feel that you have equal appreciation, it's not going to work out. And they said that for them, that was the insight for moving forward. Let's start with equity of esteem. Mandela, by the way, when he got out of prison and was trying to figure out how he gets South Africa to move forward, went to visit them and took that from them as well. That kind of respect is a central thing.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I'll think about how to integrate more more of that in my life. Can you do it with AI? Okay, just to add something. Um, what have you changed in your life? Like you've been at this book for like over 2 years now.
2 years, yes. You
Yeah,
you obviously know how long it takes to write a book.
and you've been thinking about creativity and thinking about the lessons and the individual stories and the takeaways and so on. Um, have you changed anything in how you run your life and how you do things?
Yeah, I think I'm finally like the dentist with bad teeth. Then like I go and do keynotes and I speak to thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people every year about how to become more creative and stuff like that. And then I violate my own rules. But I've gotten better at kind of, at picking up. the little nuance and the and things that I talk about and implementing it. But yeah, man, it's you know, you have to walk the walk if you're gonna talk the talk.
Yeah.
So
So
it really
what
helps.
is the what is the biggest thing that you've picked up yourself?
I think the biggest thing I've picked up myself is disconnecting from social.
Mm,
So we did the research, Dan. I'm sure you've looked at it. There's not one study, not one, that shows positive effects of social media. A
yeah,
lot of it of the literature right now is on children, but if
yeah,
you look, there's some on adult and specific demographics or whatnot. Not one of them is positive. They're
yeah.
all like some detrimental effect. So for me, I got rid of social on my phone. I don't have anything anymore. I used to have all the app and I used to check them. Now I confine that activity to one time in the day. I talk about it in the book and now I'm practicing it.
And that means you have more time for daydreaming, for focusing, for thinking more deeply. How does it penetrate your life?
I think I have your next research study. So this is what I've been doing for years with keynote audiences, corporate audiences, is I put a dot on the screen. Okay, and I ask everyone focus on the dot, like in a conference room with
Yeah,
hundreds of sometimes thousands of people in the room. I say focus on the dot. And they look at the dot, Dan, they look at me, and then within 3 to 4 seconds they either open their laptop or get on their phone. So I look out into the audience and I'll see hundreds, maybe 1,000 people like this, hunched over. And I'll say, sorry, guys, I forgot. Everybody, hello, I forgot. Put away your phones and put away shut your laptops. And people look at me like they're going to kill me. Okay. And then after that comes, I kid you not, anecdotal, but I've seen it. It's like the 5 stages of grief right before my eyes, right? They get angry and then they start bargaining and all of this stuff. But what happens with after they run through that and they accept it, it's like being at the Masters, right? In Augusta. Because you're not allowed to take your phone. You have to, it's weird for the first 20 minutes. And then
yeah,
what do? You start talking, and I hear the murmur, like, oh, and people are talking, and then I hear laughter, and then I hear this one person, kind of looking, going, you know what? And I see almost like an instant detox. That whole thing takes like 2 minutes, because I'm on stage. It's awkward. Like I can't do a proper study, right? But
yeah,
in 2 minutes, I see people cycle through this whole thing and arrive at a point that is more creative, more innovative. They start to solve problems on their own.
yeah.
What do you
So,
think is
so,
going on, Dan?
so, so if I had to kind of summarize that point, I think that what you're saying is that when it comes to creativity, we are our own worst enemies. And what we choose to do is to fill every minute with the belief that we're efficient in some way. But in fact, by not giving ourselves time to think and rethink and so on, we are depriving of ourselves of creativity. And it resonates with me in a very good way. So my last book, I adopted the following writing process. I would wake up, I would think about what I want to write today, and I would hike up the hill for 2 hours.
Okay.
This was some hill. I was in Switzerland, so this was the Alps. But I would hike for 2 hours, and I would think about what I want to write, and I would run it in my mind. And often after half an hour, I said, I have it, but I still had an hour and a half to go. So I would keep on working on the same part of the book. It always got better. I think human laziness is really our enemy.
Hmm.
Is that, like, if I was at my desk and I would think, oh, I got it. The fact that I had an hour and a half more to go, like, okay, much more time for improvement. So I think this idea that we have a creative instinct and we want to be creative, and lots of elements of our lives could be creative, and we're all slightly different, and we need different relationship, a different sleep pattern, a different food, and we need to figure it out for ourselves. And then to say that these phones are really filling our time and not letting us think, and we need time to think. So I love that. Let me end with one thing that kind of connects creativity and phone. I just met a father who told me that his son, I think he's 9, wanted a new fancy bike. And he said to his son, I'll buy you this bike, but you have to give me back your phone for 2 years. And the kid said, okay.
Wow.
And he said, it's been a year. The kid has no phone for a year. And he said it's the cheapest way to buy his son back.
Ah,
He said he has a full kid back. And he said he's also very proud of his son that he's sticking to his promise. But he
right.
made a promise, bike versus phone, got the bike, gave his phone, and now he said he has a new kid.
Wow. That's wild.
Creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Nir, I'm wishing you great success with the book.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's a fascinating, important topic. I think we don't do enough creativity. I think we need to practice it because it's hard to get better at it without practice, and it's not something you can just hope for. So hopefully, lots of people would start practice being more creative.
I think we need it. I think it's something that can help us not only at work but beyond. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah,
Thanks for being on and thanks for the chat.
my pleasure.